안녕하세요. Did I get that right? Hi, my name is Gregory. I will be speaking in English because my Korean is very poor, as you could tell. I have the privilege of working with both Pivotal teams and Pivotal customers across Asia Pacific. So I guess it's my job to wrap up this morning, and I'd like to leave you with a few key messages, starting with obviously thanking our guests, our customer guests and my colleagues for their time and expertise this morning. And I'll rudely simplify some of the key messages that we've had this morning. So obviously thank you to Samsung for sharing some of their knowledge around Spring Data Flow, Confluent for talking about Kafka and that event messaging streams. Also for KB, talking about the importance of culture in the change and having a really strong partner to work with to actually walk the journey with you, because this stuff isn't easy, and that is the theme of my very brief chat to you today. Thanks also to Haewon, who talked about app transformation, trying not to take on the entire monolith or boil the ocean, and really looking for that thin slice outcome that allows you to deliver value early and credibility and prove out some of those patterns and concepts. Thanks also to LSIS. I think I love the fact that even though he was speaking in Korean, I could tell he was very excited about how they had collaborated, about the event storming and Boris and Snap, and what that had produced in terms of results for them. Just collaborating, but also aligning people to the outcome that's required. Finally, Haewon talking about labs. He gave you a really quick master tour with a lot of writing in live, which was very impressive. I would not try that, so Haewon, well done. But certainly talking about the typical challenges that you as enterprises have to deal with, right? Things like people throwing solutions over the cliff, handoffs, about building things that users then don't want to use, and how you actually start to break down some of those traditional cycles by working as balanced teams, the concept of build, learn and measure, and bringing that delivery of value time down from years to months. But ultimately, why does all this matter? Why are we doing this? So I want to talk about just the case for business quite quickly. So why is it just not tech? Why should our business people care? Why do we need to take them on the journey, and why do we need them bought in? And also how we, as leaders of this change, and I have worked in change and transformation for well over a decade, in tech change globally. So how do we make all of this a reality and bring people on the journey to make it successful? So ultimately, we've all heard about disruptors, right? Any enterprise ultimately is under threat. And what they want to do is pretty basic. It's increase revenue, decrease cost, and manage risk, right? But we also acknowledge that software is really now at the heart of everything we do. It's our customer experience and engagement programs, it's our systems of record, it's the way we develop products, it's the way that we get customer and performance data, right? Software's at the heart. So it stands to reason that in order to be a successful business, you need to be successful at software, right? I mean, sort of the correlation is becoming very clear. So it actually has been proven. Have you guys read this book? Anyone seen this book? Is it published in Korean? If not, I would say this is your essential Bible for why businesses should care about tech transformation and how the link between high-performing software organisations and high-performing businesses has been proven. Accelerate, right? And it's basically a conglomeration of the learning out of the state of DevOps reports over the last 3 years. And what the state of DevOps reports have done is define what high-performing organisations look like, and then actually determined what the link is between high-performing software and high-performing businesses. So I'll give you an idea. 2 times achieving performance targets. High-performing software organisations are 2 times more likely to achieve their performance targets: profit, productivity, market share. They're also twice as likely to achieve their non-commercial goals, things like product quality, customer satisfaction, operational excellence. And when they actually looked at these high-performing companies, and there are over 355 of them, and looked at their market performance, those high-performing organisations were 50% higher value, more highly valued on the stock market. So there's a direct correlation there. That's why your business people should care, and it's important because we need them to take this transformation journey. As we've all pointed out this morning, though, it's highly complicated, right? We've got years and years of legacy systems, we've got increasing regulation, we've got outsourcing, tickets and silos and personalities that don't want to change. So the business has been very frustrated for a long time. And what did that result in? Things like shadow IT, driving business people to use the cloud directly, trying to get business and IT to work together has been a challenge. So this disconnect in terms of how organisations and big organisations innovate within the shackles of legacy. And what that's really done is it drives this need for organisations to transform. Okay, so everyone talks about transformation, but often we don't really define why we're doing it or what that is. So when we talk about transformation at Pivotal, and again, I said I would rudely simplify a lot of what we talked about this morning, this is really what we're talking about. Speed to market, agility, customer focus, building what our customers actually need, and an engaged workforce. People in our organisation who stay with those organisations because they are valued, because they're collaborating, their work is transparent, their leaders are involved, and because they're building things of value, because they're doing problem solving, not just what someone's idea of a solution is. Speed to market, fast feedback loops, the things that Haywan were talking about. Self-service for developers so they can get started on business logic fast. Automated release processes that allow you to securely, continually release code, working code, which monetizes insights. Right? And customer focus, customer-driven product development, actually asking your users continually, is this right? Does this work? What experiment did we run? What were the results? Where are we going to pivot next? Problem solution thinking and that whole build, learn, measure piece that Haywan was talking about. But how do we achieve this? Well, it's not the same path for everyone. And over the last 5 years of working with customers on these enterprise transformations, we've realised that that's the case. But there are definitely some common themes. I'll give you one common theme. About a year to a year and a half into every one of these technology transformations, the leadership will come back to us and say, oh, we get it now. This is about culture. This is about fundamental cultural change and not just technology change. So I'm going to share some of the not-so-secret secrets of transformation, learned from our 300 customers or so globally and making them successful, but also just from the open press. Places like DBS Bank, the Home Depot, in government, Kessel Run, in Australia, Department of Customer Service, delivering amazing software outcomes. For instance, Kessel Run, before they worked with Pivotal, had spent 3 years and $350 million working on a tanker refuelling solution that with these processes, practices and platform, we were able to deliver in less than 16 weeks for less than $1 million. It saves them over $500,000 a day, but more importantly, it actually saves lives. DBS is another great example. They've been on their journey since 2009, so 10 years of journey. But they've managed to increase their compound aggregate growth rate by 13% and their share price by over 50% in the last 3 years as a result of doing this work. So my version of the common themes that you can recognise and prepare for as leaders of sustainable, lasting change for your business. Number one, it's tedious. It's hard. You have to do the work bottoms up. This is not consulting firm delivering PDFs, looking at recommendations, walking out the door. You have to put new practices in place. You need the support of your leaders to do that. Put the foundations in place. You have to go back and look at things like continuous delivery, continuous integration, a platform to automate, what processes and methodologies you're using to deliver agile software. Some people need to act and some people need to let go. Leadership is absolutely fundamental. And when I say leadership, I mean real leadership, not lip service. So having a clear vision, being able to communicate that vision to your team, being able to align that team to a common goal through incentives as well as in words. Often the companies we deal with have competing incentives. So you have to sort all of that out. And then those leaders need to understand that they need to change the way they act, the things that they say, to be more transparent and more measurable. One of the best stories I've heard was us working with the Home Depot. So the Home Depot's biggest retailer in the US, right? 200,000 people, 2,500 stores. When Craig Manier, the CEO of the Home Depot, left the first workshop, he came to us afterwards and said, I've finally got it. This is the thing that I needed to be able to go and get the insights from my people. No longer do I have highly paid people making decisions and enforcing those on everyone. He said, I can actually go to the people in my stores who are building the trusted relationships and say, what do you know? What is your hypothesis about how this should work? What experiment will you run? What have you learnt and how will you change as a result of that? So this is really powerful stuff if your leaders are on board. Start small, do what works. Now, it doesn't matter where you find the value, just find the value. Could be a thin slice of a really big app that runs your business. It could be something small and new. At Telstra, Australia's biggest telco, they found a customer service app. Over 7 million transactions a year that was costing them $7 a transaction. They simply put that online, some good design, user-centred design, got something out within 12 weeks, reduced the number of people transacting to less than 1 million and the transaction cost to less than $1. All right, that's powerful results for a business. Decentralised decision-making. Find new ways of working, create autonomous teams, measure progress. So the whole build, measure, learn piece. Breaks and precise steering. Often people say agile equals chaos, but actually, if you look at Heywan's model, you're going from development cycles that take years to development cycles that take 2 weeks, agile sprints. There's a huge amount of transparency. You can say yes or no-go at any time. So actually, the concept of agile being able to drive much lower risk, high value delivery is proven. Small wins create champions, and most importantly, capability. How are you going to find the people to do these new jobs and to work in these new ways? Are you going to build that capability? Are you going to hire that capability? What types of learning and support communities of practice are you putting in place to support that? How aggressive are you going to be? Often capability and transitioning people from roles today, like maybe from testers to engineers, or from field people to quality people, from SMEs to product managers is the biggest challenge. But ultimately, this is all about creating learning organisations that not only do something good once, but are able to do it over and over again as they respond to market, competitive, industry changes. So at Pivotal, we say, do what works, do the right thing and be kind. And if I was to summarise it into three very simple things here, it's build the right thing through being product-oriented, responding to customers. It's build the thing right using methodologies and platforms that actually allow you to deliver the outcome again and again and again, repeatedly. And it's build the right teams. Think about your workforce, the way they collaborate, the transparency, and automate. And with that, I will sign off. This afternoon's track, I think they're going to summarise what this afternoon is going to entail for you from a speaker perspective. Thank you very much for having me.